Hello, Internet. I hit the wrong button, so I totally just cut the music. Like, just absolutely just killed the music. Killed it. There was no fade out today. I just killed it. Welcome to the Always Online podcast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things multiplayer related. This is episode 419, and we're doing it live as we always do. February 11th, Friday. We're doing it a little early, but normally it's 1 p.m. Eastern. Hope you'll join us for a future show, twitch.tv/MMOBomb. Welcome to chat. They're going to give their opinions as we go here. Unfortunately, Lost Ark's free-to-play launch a little bit delayed. Going to be delayed by a few hours, so welcome to all you Lost Ark fans who haven't been able to jump in today yet. We are definitely going to talk about the game. The first look video is up. It is official on MMOBomb.com. Zach Sharp's taking a stroll through everything you need to know about the game before you get started. So check that out. We've got a great show for you today. All kinds of stuff to talk about. Joining me to do it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
You kill the music the way New World is killing its servers.
Oof.
Ooh.
Oof.
Yeah.
My heart.
Yeah.
So Mike, what is your guess for what's behind me?
So pre-show, I guessed that it looks like a bag. It's hard to tell, but it looks like a bag of like chocolate candies, like Lindor truffles type thing.
Well, it actually is. You're absolutely wrong. It is actually a bag of Lindor truffles candy.
Oh my gosh. I only knew because of that chocolate drip logo.
Which you thought might have actually been poop, but
that was the other possibility. Why do you have Lindor truffles behind you?
Because they were close at hand. Because I had a $40 off coupon for Target because I just got my red card finally, and I wanted to order something, and it was $39.99. So the coupon would only to $40 or higher.
You paid $40 for a bag of chocolate?
No, his
so
order.
So I tossed this into my cart just to give me a couple extra bucks so I could use the $40 off coupon.
No.
Thank God.
Like, you thought there was a chance. Like, Lindor truffles aren't cheap when you compare them to other
chocolate. It was like
but
$5-6 for that bag.
Yeah, I mean, $40. So, Jason, you treated yourself to some Valentine's candy. That's what it is.
Yeah, basically, I'm living the
dream.
Myself.
Living the dream.
One, yeah.
Also on the line, some dude that thinks a small bag of Lindor truffles costs $40. Mr. Troy Blackburn, a.k.a. Noob Fridge. What's up, sir?
Speaking of Valentine's Day, Jason just hurt me in my heart place. Talking about New World killing his servers. Aww.
Yeah, so before we get started here, obviously Lost Ark going to be a topic on today's show. Amazon Games playing publisher with this one here in the West for the first time. We'll get to our opinions on that later. But we have speculated, what does this kind of do for New World? Obviously, Lost Ark going to draw players from all kinds of games short term for people just want to check it out. Doesn't have to be New World. But New World, I keep waiting, and I've said it to Zach, I've said it to Jason, I keep waiting for its typical MMORPG plateau, right? Where you come down off the launch high, a bunch of people leave, it plateaus, and then maybe a few months later it starts going down. And it just continues to just be a steady, slow decline. Right now, 25,000 people playing, less than 50,000 all-time or high in the last 24 hours. As somebody who actually was really invested in the game, what's going on? Does it have a future? Are we going to see free-to-play before the end of the year like Jason's predictions? Like, it's got to be sad for somebody that's, really into it like you.
Yeah, it's a lot of folks that are holding, like I just uninstalled it finally the other night, just waiting for the content that I'm waiting on. I think it's kind of the same deal with everybody. Like we've talked about it before, like it's got good bones, right? Like it's a good base of an MMO, but everybody kept waiting for that content patch, for this big, here's some things to really do. And all they keep doing is just messing with that gear score grind at the end of the game. That's literally all they seem to care about. So it's still slowly bleeding folks because they're not producing the content that a lot of folks, there were still a lot of players in that game, even after the initial, loss when they were like 900,000 players. There were still several 100,000 players playing the game, but they're not introducing the content that we're all waiting for, and people are running out of patience now. And continue to run out of patience.
It's going to be a weird one to watch, Jason, because 50,000 people concurrently is not a success for Amazon.
When it was at a 150, 200, we were saying this is too small for Amazon to care about. So now that's not like 50. It's like, yeah.
It's going to be interesting to watch. They're doing server mergers. They are doing updates. Like, there is stuff going in there, but how fast can they get it there, to Troy's point? Anyway, just wanted to get your take on that real quickly. Let's get started with the rest of the news. What we're going to do first here is we're going to go through a little section of things that I call odd little news bits of the week. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, and some of it may cause you to eye roll, like Ubisoft giving employees NFTs in a game nobody plays while they were showing up at a conference to talk about their unhappiness with the future of the company. Way to go, Ubisoft. Anyway, looking at maybe what could be considered the better or the gooder, the gooder part of the news, Microsoft published quite a few changes to a lot of their policies and their vision going forward, particularly when it comes to its app store. And I think it's easy to see why they might want to get out in front of a potential Epic v. Apple situation, where Epic is very unhappy with Apple enough to sue and claiming walled gardens. Obviously, Game Pass, a walled garden. The App Store, for as shitty as it is sometimes, a walled garden. But they seem to be changing some things on this front that, one, may be perceived as a little more consumer-friendly, Jason, but I think more importantly, two, at least recognizes that the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, puts them in an IP ownership, big gaming company bag that the SEC and the FTC are already going to look into. And so maybe let's get out ahead of, hey, look, we're not trying to actually go create a monopoly down the road. We're going to open up our walled gardens a little bit. Does it change anything in the long run, though? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, first of all, they're not even saying that it's maybe to get out in front of regulations. They say several times in this blog piece, yeah, we're getting out in front of these regulations. That's absolutely what this is about. They directly say that several times. So, yeah, they know what people are talking about. Not only regular people, but obviously the actual regulators, various governments, with how they're dealing with the openness of app stores and that sort of thing. Saying that, let's see, the title of the piece, first of all, is called "Adapting Ahead of Regulation." And they say that we want regulators and the public to know that as a company, Microsoft is committed to adapting to these new laws, and with these principles, we're moving to do so. As a company, we continue to be more focused on adapting to regulation than fighting against it. So probably the big thing they're doing is doing to their app store basically everything that Epic wanted Apple to do to its app store. They're not going to require that you have to use their payment methods. They're going to let you link out to other payments. What else?
They're holding third-party developers accountable to the same standards as their apps as well.
Right. So yeah, it's really a lot of, like I said, just a lot of the same stuff that Epic wants Apple to do to its app store is what Microsoft is doing. And you know what I haven't done, but I should probably do right now is look at Tim Sweeney's Twitter to see how much he's talking about how wonderful it is, because you know he is. Let's see. Hang on, Tim Sweeney. Is there at the E or there or Epic? Is that Epic Tim Sweeney?
Okay, I just want to say something though, Troy. It's very easy to look at some of Microsoft's moves with Xbox and with Game Pass right now and to say, you know what, that's very consumer-centric. That's very consumer-centric. That's very consumer-centric. And give them credit for that. And I think, yeah, rightfully, we should. When they do something that is good for the customer, maybe not good if you're a PlayStation customer on certain aspects of things, but as their own Xbox PC customers, generally, most of these changes do work in the customer's favor. However, I think it is important to notice that or at least note that at the end of the day, there's the long term here is to make your money. And that doesn't mean that the reason they may be doing these is for customer-centric attitudes. It just happens to be a good PR byproduct of some of these changes you want to make right now.
That's funny because that's exactly how I feel about this. I think this is a good PR move for them right now to say these things and go these directions at this moment. This is always subject to change down the road, and maybe the existing stuff, they stick with all this, customer centric, open to everybody. But then when Blizzard comes out with that new game, all of a sudden that's exclusive. That's our store only. You can only buy through our store. All of a sudden, things start closing down when new things get introduced. I think right now they're just trying to prevent their own fear mongering from people who just are afraid of everything that's change. From going, oh my God, monopoly, even though, oh my God, how far from a monopoly could this possibly be? But yeah, I think it's just a fantastic PR move right now.
Yeah, it's one of those, Jason, we've talked about it before. It's one of those situations where it's like, we need to make the customers happy until it doesn't matter if the customers are happy. We just have so much and we have everything that we don't care if you're happy or not.
I'm still going back to like that Amazon video I showed you a while back, and it was in relation to also what Epic wanted to do, what we thought they were trying to do with their game store, about how they're continually losing money over and over. They don't mind doing that. They want to get to the point where they have such a dominant market share that, like you said, it doesn't matter. Amazon declares a loss like every year. They don't make money apparently somehow. They've been doing that since 95, and that's probably the end game, to get enough of the market share that they can just say whatever. But again, we talked about this on other shows, how they only control now maybe 10% of gaming basically, which is
right,
a decent amount, but it's certainly not the majority of everything. So I don't know if that can work for them in that sense.
The last thing we should note on this one is that they did reiterate again that they're going to honor all existing contracts from Blizzard with Sony as far as products on the PlayStation and stuff like that. It stopped short of saying the same thing we've always asked: will all these titles always be PlayStation? Meh. It just says that we're going to honor what Blizzard has outstanding.
We're going to honor all the existing contracts because we have to.
Because we have to. Yeah.
Because they're contracts.
Yeah. Because we have to, but it's so generous of them. Let's move on to some eye-rolling news. Maybe this is bad and eye-rolling. I'm not sure. But Troy, you're always looking for that next big sandbox game. And I got one for you.
Oh, Lord.
I know you have problems with ArcheAge, that you really wanted to like ArcheAge, and you just could never quite get there. Mm-hmm. And even when ArcheAge had their Unchained version, you were like, okay, maybe stripping a lot of that cash shop stuff out, maybe now's the time. And it just quite didn't get there for you. Well, I'll tell you what. How about ArcheWorld? ArcheWorld.
It's a whole world.
Yeah.
A whole world of Ark.
Going to launch in July. XL Games launching ArcheWorld in July. And I think you're going to like this.
What was missing from ArcheAge, Mike? Tell me what was missing.
NFTs. I mean, just like 100% blockchain technology and NFTs.
Got it.
That's what was missing from ArcheAge that I think will really get you into it. According to MMO Culture, earlier this week at a media event for blockchain platform Bora, which we've reported on in other circumstances before, XL Games co-CEO Choi Guan-ho announced ArcheWorld, a game in which players will be able to own everything that they create. The goal of the game will be to, quote, make NFT items so that they can be owned, stored, and traded, and foster a complete creator economy in which users go beyond simply owning the rights to an item, make quests for the game, make maps, create dungeons, and revise and propose plans. Now, this is a separate project from ArcheAge 2, so don't get that confused. It's a different project. Still might have that ArcheAge 2. Maybe that'll do it for you. But here you go, Troy. Because ArcheAge didn't struggle with PR and public perception enough. I think this is just a great...
And their monetization choices, even in the Unchained version, they still had monetization issues. Now, what's the solution? NFT. Oh my God. I'm not going to give you money to own nothing. Nothing.
Torchwick in chat says, so basically make our game for us and pay for the privilege.
That was the best part. Yeah, I thought we're going to make everything. Yeah. Players are going to make everything. Well, geez, what are you paying me for?
That's called the EverQuest landmark model.
I was going to say, that's what EverQuest thought they were going to do. Let the players make the game for them.
That's called the EverQuest landmark model. Because you know what, there is not a company I trust to actually get consumer-centric NFTs correct more than XL Games, Jason.
I don't know why anyone's excited for anything with art in the beginning anymore. They remember that like 2 weeks of alpha where everything was wonderful, but since then it's all been shit. It's been worse shit than the little poop thing you thought was on my bag.
Windshark says, "Isn't also Neverwinter where you make quests and dungeons?" You're talking about the Foundry though. That
they took that out,
and that's gone. You can't do it anymore. But the Foundry
But
just
even
used to be. But yeah, that was in addition to all the content they had for their main story and stuff. It was a side thing. I could make a mission and have my friends go play it. That's
great.
different. The Foundry was awesome. It was abusable, and that's why it got taken out, because they still gave you experience and stuff in there. So yeah. ArcheWorld. Gentlemen, do your best George Bush impersonations here.
I thought about using that picture, and I was this close to using that as the banner image.
You should have.
I should have. Yeah.
Or maybe we're just old and nobody else would get that.
Do you guys remember America's Army Proving Grounds, a free-to-play first-person shooter?
I did log into it once briefly.
I did once too. Yeah, basically the U.S. Army made it, and what's up, fan? As like a recruitment tool / game, and they are declaring mission success. Time to withdraw. The game will be shutting down on May 5th. May 5th. I was kind of amazed when we started typing this up, Jason, that it was still open. Like, I'm not going to lie. I totally thought this had shut down years ago. It's like 20 years old.
Yeah.
it's like 20 years old. But
so is RuneScape.
Mission success. Yeah. RuneScape isn't a recruitment tool for the U.S. Army.
What did this game look like? Like GoldenEye? Like, seriously.
Well, they revised it a couple times. Like there was America's Army 3, which there was no 2, by the way. There's just America's Army 3.
Just went to 3.
And also America's Army Proving Ground. So it had like a couple revisions and looked. When I played it 10 years ago, it looked like something of 10 years ago. So it wasn't horrible.
Oh, so it moved up to like original Halo. Okay.
Yeah. F's in chat, everybody. F's in chat for F to pay respects.
And keep the F's coming in chat, because another shooter free to play, Severium, which we've reported on for as long as I can remember, is also shutting down. That's going to shut down at the end of May. Now, they have said that they're already working on another project from Vostok Games, but Severium going to shut down. I remember, like, Severium was one of those games that, like, every time I got a press release from Joe over there, we didn't mind covering it. It's a free-to-play first-person shooter. A lot of people did play it at one point. But, like, I always was, like, amazed. Like, how is this not launched yet? Like, every patch update email we got was always 0.4.6, 0.5.1. I'm like, are we ever going to... And then finally, like a decade later, they made it to 1. Now, they're
still in early access.
Are they still in early access? Oh,
yes.
my God. Oh, my God.
I remember this was one of the last bigger assignments that I'd gotten at Gamebreaker. And Gary was like, hey, go ahead and jump in and play. We're going to cover this when it launches, big time. And then that just never happened.
So the other project, like, they say they're working on something else, Jason, but is it Stalker 2, or are they talking about something else on top of that? Because, like, Stalker 2 disappeared for a while, and now it's, going to get a release. Get a release later this year. Are they referencing, when they say they're working on something else, that? Or is it something else in addition to?
I think it's probably not, because first of all, the studio Vostok was formed by a lot of people who worked on the Stalker 2, the original sequel that was supposed to come out like 12 years ago that never did. So they all left the company there to go and form their own company. So there's some DNA there. But seeing as how that's like almost done on its own now, I think it would have been publicly announced that Vostok was helping out on it. So I think they've got something else in mind that isn't related to the Stalker series.
We'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure Joe will keep me posted. Joe's always been good about keeping me up to date on Severium, except for notice that the game was closing down. I did not.
Yeah. Well, we haven't. Our last article on it was like 3 years ago. So.
Yeah, I did not get a press release for that one. We had to find that online. There was no press release sent to us for that one. All right, moving on. Before we talk about Lost Ark and our initial impressions, gang, I've got a couple of things here. They could be brand new. They could be expansions, whatever. We're going to play a game. We're going to play a game with Jason and Troy and myself, but also with chat. So chat, get your fingers ready on the old keypads there, or keyboards if you're at your PC. We're going to play a round of, do you have any interest in this game? Do you have any interest in this game? And I've got 4 things for you. 4 things for you. Ninja says no.
Come on, Ninja.
I don't even care the words that are about to come out of your mouth. The answer is no.
Ninja just, nope.
I don't like playing games. That's why I listen to a game podcast.
That's right.
Q says probably what Ninja said. Okay, so first up, going free to play later this month as it launches an expansion is Swords of Legends Online. They're going to be launching their expansion, the Firestone Legacy, and taking the box price off of this. All week we've been teased with Warrior and Fox Mage and the new classes that are coming in the expansion. We have all the trailers and information up on mmobomb.com for you to check out, so you can get up to date on all of it. So first off, let me ask you this. Since this has been available, have either of you played it at all yet?
Nope.
No.
No. Okay, so I did. So I'll hold my opinion for last, since I do have some experience in the game. Not a lot, but I do have some. So let's start with you, Jason. Do you have any interest in this game once it goes free to play, and why or why not?
Only very mild, because it does look like, again, and I remember talking about this when Age of Wushu first came out. Like, that was the first real like Chinese flavored MMO we got over here. We've got other stuff since. And someone was like, "Oh, this reminds me of someone I was watching said, oh, this reminds me of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Oh, it's got that neat feel to it." And I was like, "Yeah, but that Crouching Tiger, as much as it was kind of a cool thing here in the U.S., there's been not a whole lot since in that same style that's done a whole lot in terms of like movie, in terms of popularity. It's an extremely niche kind of thing, and just doesn't strike the Western sensibility that much, other than like an occasional thing you might try out. So, is something you want to do in an MMO? And the answer for most people just tends to be not really. I think that's kind of what happened here as well.
So it's almost a no for Swords of Legends from Jason, but not quite a no.
It doesn't look awful, and I do like that stuff. I watched a few other movies since Crouching Tiger, but it is something I want to dedicate an MMO life to. Not really, especially when I look at the video and it's like, looks all right. You got effects, you're doing stuff. Sure, whatever.
Troy, Swords of Legends Online. You haven't played it yet. Once it goes free to play and gets an expansion, any interest in this game?
I will play it just so I can talk about it, and the things that I don't like about it. Probably. I will be open-minded going in, but Eastern import games typically are my thing. I don't see anything about this that looks any different or special. You can say what you want to about it. It looks like every other game that comes over. I got no real interest in it other than this is what I do, so I will play an MMO.
Okay, so from the chat, we've got Stojan with a no, Raging with a no, Fan with a no, Takal saying seems decently, so maybe yeah, and then also clarifying I'm with Jason. Super low interest, but not no interest. K-Max bought it at launch, didn't run great for me. That's a hard no. Ninja tried it. So, yeah, basically, Q doesn't like the name. For a long time, I had to do a lot of... I
don't blame her. I have an issue with that, too.
A lot of editing of Q's pieces when she wrote this up, because by just, the way your brain works, she wants to call it Sword of Legends Online, and it's Swords of Legends Online. Like, everything's fucking plural in it. So, yeah. I'm going to say yes, I actually do, because I have played this. I was going to do a first look on it at one point, actually. And somebody asked in a video, a different first look, will you be doing a Swords of Legends one? The problem with it was Swords of Legends launched like just at the wrong time as far as what we were doing at MMO Bomb. It still required a box fee just as we were getting ready to transition into covering games that had box fees, all multiplayer instead of just free to play. So it had already come out a month or so we didn't do the first look because we were free to play only. A month and a half or so later was when we finished our back-end redesign and all that. So it was just bad timing on when the game launched versus when we shifted to all multiplayer. I'm actually going to take the opportunity with the expansion to go do a first look. I got to say, Troy, at least as far as I've gotten, and there's plenty of room for me to go in the game, you're kind of dead on. There is nothing egregious in the game that I'm like, oh, this is just terrible. This is bad. It is a competent MMORPG. If you are looking for something different from your main game, you could certainly do far worse than this. There are the voiceovers. I turn the English ones off. They're not good. They are not good. But yeah, I actually enjoyed the time that I had in it, but there's nothing compelling enough to pull me away from something else that I might be playing. So I'm going to say yes. Not like I'm super gung-ho about it, but I am eager to give it another shot and go ahead and do a first look for it when it launches. So I'll give it a yes.
I swear Mike has like some sort of time and space powers. He got like 45 hours in a day to try all these crappy games that he knows he's gonna hate. He still goes in it. We're like, Troy and I are like, the game's free. We still don't want to play it.
Right. I've barely got time to play the game.
With our time.
I've barely got time to play the games I want to play right now.
Yeah.
Next up, Evil Dead, the game. You can now pre-order the game, and there's a brand new trailer. We put that up on mmobomb.com. So standard edition is $40, deluxe edition is $60, and that includes all 4 DLC packs that will comprise Season Pass 1. And either of those pre-order packages will give you Ash Williams' S-Mart employee outfit, as well as some other stuff. So this is one of those asymmetric games, think like Friday the 13th or Evolve back in the day, stuff like that, where there's, one baddie against 4 good guys, that type of deal, asymmetric gameplay. That's really got to be like your thing. If you are okay with asymmetric gameplay, then all right, we can go from there. If you just don't like asymmetric gameplay like some of the titles I mentioned, then this 100%, even if you love Evil Dead, will not be for you. Troy, we'll start with you. Any interest in this game? Yes or no? Why not?
No, they're just whoring out the IP at this point to try to grab some cash. This is going to be a very good game. I have zero interest in playing this and probably.
Okay, you say that, but let me devil's advocate at you.
Mm-hmm.
The game has had 2 different delays because of quality concerns that the team had. So they have been very public about this thing just isn't ready. We're going to wait. Twice now. Does that make you feel like maybe it isn't such a... IP-wise, yeah. I mean, if you love Ash Williams, if you love Evil Dead, if you love Army of Darkness, like it's a no-brainer on the IP side of things.
Yeah.
But as far as the quality of the game, still concerned, even if they're willing to take those hits, those PR hits of delaying it more than once, specifically for what you're addressing?
Amazon did too with New World, and here we are.
How many times was your Alien game delayed, Mike? The game that you love, because you love that IP.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's
too.
all. That's what they want. They want you to love the IP, and we'll have a game too.
Jason, yes, no.
Yeah, this is probably a no for me. At least in part because I don't have friends, so I don't have anybody to play it with. This would absolutely have to be a game that I'd have to have like 3 other people to play it with. So,
Mad Martha, no. Takala, no. Torchwick, a yes. Q likes the IP, but probably won't play the game. Mad Martha said, I love Evil Dead, but this type of game is just bad. So again, like if you don't like the genre, then it doesn't matter what IP you put on it. K-Max, no thanks. Stojan says yes. So we got a bit of a variety on this one. CD Projekt Red delayed Cyberpunk. Yeah, multiple times. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, delaying a game for quality could mean that, yes, we're going to make it better, or it could be we have no freaking clue what we're doing, so let's just try to slap the Band-Aids on a little more before we push it out the door.
I got to give this one a yes for me. I like the IP, and I actually like asymmetric gameplay. I liked Friday the 13th quite a bit.
And you have 45 hours in a day. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I got 45 hours in a day, so I got time to kill. This one's a yes for me. How about Destiny 2's Witch Queen expansion? That's coming up as well. We just got like a 15-minute vid doc. That's up on the site. If you want to see some like behind-the-scenes stuff, how they're relating Destiny 2 Witch Queen storyline to stuff in Destiny 1, their thoughts on light versus dark, not necessarily being good versus evil anymore, technical stuff that they've done in the expansion. If you like that type of stuff, which I do, mmobomb.com, we've got the video up there. Q put it up. Troy, are you interested in the Witch Queen? Yes or no?
No, not interested in Destiny 2 anymore. Bungie's freaking bipolar, man. We're the good guy. We're the bad guy. We're the good guy. We're the bad guy. We want to be owned. We want to be solo. We want to be owned. We want to be independent. My God.
Or put content in every game, but take content out. Put content in, take content out.
Thank you. Yeah.
Jason, what do you got?
Man, I want to like Destiny 2, and I want to play it more. I just watched the video.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
admit, very few games that will actually just get me. Because like I said, we watched the Swords of Legend trailer. Like, okay, here's a guy swinging a sword. There's fancy fire effects going on. Whatever. I've seen that 1,000 times. You watch Destiny 2, and the way characters move and the way they fight in that just looks freaking amazing. It looks like a cool action movie. And I want to be able to play that. But just like I said, a lot of the little things they've done, whether it's vaulting content or locking stuff behind paywalls, just little nitpicky stuff like that just makes me go, I'm going to be annoyed by this so much that I'm going to stop playing it. So
yeah, Mad Martha, a no. Takal says, I guess, yeah, I've played a bit of D2 and it's cool, so I guess I'm interested in the expansion. K-Max, Destiny is a no. They don't make good choices for their players often.
Yeah.
Torchwick, no. Fan, big no. I'm not going to pay for their deluxe or whatever edition so I can access the dungeons or whatever. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about with the paywalls.
Like, boycott that style. RS Jabbers with Jason. And Jairus is same. I want to love D2, but it just doesn't do it. And not happy with the season pass model. Stojan, no. Terra Nova, stop being interested. So a lot of no's on this one. I got to go no too. And it's sad, Jason, because
that's actually surprising. I really thought that would be the one thing you'd go for.
No, so the thing is, Jason, you want to like Destiny 2. I'm further along that train. I do like Destiny 2, the game itself. But I can't. I'm with you. Like when you start putting dungeon content behind specific bundles of pre-orders, when you start vaulting content to the point that it's confusing for new players. New players still to this day don't know exactly what they're supposed to be doing in Destiny. Like just some of the choices, I can't support it. Now, will I play it? Yes, because they'll probably send me a copy so that I can check it out for streams and stuff like that. And if they do, then obviously we will stream it and check it out. I have streamed it before, but I personally don't have any interest in shelling out the money for this one. I agree with most of chat and Jason and Troy. They're just making bad decisions that I can't support. Last one.
Yes.
I figured I'd give a little softball here for Jason. Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons got a great preview article for you where Jason got to take a look at the new Kanang City, got the Jade Bots, look at them, and a new trailer, and just all kinds of great stuff. If you want to check out what Jason thought of it, go ahead on mmobomb.com. Jason, I'll let you go first since you've already said yes.
It's my second most hyped expansion of the month.
What's your first?
Crusader Kings 3.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and barely in the month, as we talked about last week, February 28th. But yeah,
I did tell Jason, I was like, if you want to write up Crusader Kings 3 expansion, you can. And he was like, yeah, it's not like really multiplayer. Yeah, I mean, it's there, but that's not why anybody really plays it. And I was like, I know, but you like it. If you want to write it up, I'm just saying you can. Troy, yes or no, End of Dragons?
Oh, absolutely. The new Canning City they showed off in the stream last week looked amazing. It's actually a zone where you get to go in and do events, new mastery track. Everything looks really cool for End of Dragons. I'm super hyped for that.
Chat's got some interesting takes on this one, too. Raging says yes. Mad Martha says Guild Wars 2. People still play that. Takal says yes. I need to beat the base Guild Wars 2, but End of Dragons looks good. K-Max, yes, pre-ordered. I'm invested heavily in that game. RS Jabber, pre-ordered. Then Fan says no. Lost Ark just released. I don't have time for more than 2 MMOs. And Jira, if I had the money, I'd have pre-ordered it already. Ninja Pandas don't play it, so no. Torchwick says no, not really into it. Another no for Stojan. So this one, like, all across the board.
That's kind of the problem with Guild Wars 2 in general is the players who play it love it and they're super excited for the expansion, right? But they don't do the things to bring in the new players. They're always making their current players happy, which is awesome.
Yeah, you don't.
What are they doing to bring in the new players, the people who don't play it?
Yeah,
they're doing boba tea promos or whatever. That stuff that failed miserably.
You don't grow at that point, and that's a problem,
Yeah.
particularly when you are owned by NCSoft.
It really is a top quality MMO. It really honestly is.
It is. And that's why, so this is one of those heartbreaking ones for me. There is not a single thing I don't like about Guild Wars 2, but I'm not interested. I'm not interested.
It is kind of its own style. If you're used to playing the Final Fantasy 14s, the typical dungeons and Trinity and stuff, and want to play those kind of games, then you're not going to be into Guild Wars 2. It's its own kind of style, so it's kind of tough to get people into that. Sometimes.
Yeah, and it's one that I'm sure I'll get around to. You know, ArenaNet usually sends us copies of the expansion, so I'll probably play it and stream it and stuff like that. But Guild Wars 2 just never. It's always installed on my machine. Like, it's never something I've ever deleted. But it's just like there has never been a hook in me for that game. So while I do wish the expansion well, while I'm sure I will check it out and I'm sure I will enjoy most of it, I don't have any particular hype for it, if that makes sense.
Tune into this channel right here on Wednesdays following the expansion launch if you want to see some Guild Wars 2 Into Dragons. It'll be on the stream.
Mike in the Silver Waste Simulator. I did bring that character out of Silver Wastes.
So it was but I've not
it was a big deal. Yes, you did. We streamed it. It was a big deal that we were bringing that character out of. I still have one more in there, but but we did bring one of my free boost 80s from the first expansion out of Silver Wastes. It was a big deal. We did it on stream. All right. I don't know, chat. Maybe you can advise us if things have changed on the Lost Ark launch front. They did say a few hours, so I don't think things have changed. But if the game has launched, please let us know. Let's talk a little bit about Lost Ark, gentlemen. That is the big title of the week. It started Head Start 3 days ago. Official free-to-play launch is today. Still, it has not. It's still down. Okay, so it should be up anytime in the next couple of hours. They had a deployment issue that they tweeted out about. Twitter, not very happy about it. I did like the people that were saying, is this just for the free-to-play players? Like, yeah. Because that's the way servers work. Did you pay to be here? Come on in. No, the entire
that would
game
surprise me for some companies, honestly.
We have Amazon Games and their first foray into publishing rather than full-on developing. Smilegate's title from Korea finally makes its way west after all of these years.
Talking about Crossfire, right?
Yeah, that's not being really well received right now. Yeah, that launched. Anyway. On to other things. MMORPG, bunch of different classes. I'm showing the first look. It is available on our YouTube page and on mmobomb.com. Please go make sure you put a like on it. You comment. I know Zach is watching the comments, interacting with everybody that has questions that maybe it was a little more detailed than you'd cover in a first look. So go interact and share the video with everybody. We appreciate the love. It always helps us out, and it's free for you to click that like or subscribe button. Troy, you've played it. I saw you streaming it. You streamed it 5 hours on MMO Bomb's channel on 2 different streams Wednesday. I have played it. Jason, did you jump in, or were you waiting for free to play, or you just
I was waiting for free.
You were waiting for free. Okay, so you haven't jumped in itself yet, but you've watched different things about it. All right, so Troy, we'll start with you then. Initial impressions of the game, whether that be like the story, just what do you think?
The story, if you're coming into it for the story, you're probably making a mistake. It's got story, and you do follow sort of an MSQ, a main story quest along the way, but it's very tropey. It's very full of plot armor. It's got MacGuffins. It's not that great, especially with the English voice acting. It's fine. It gets the point across, but they're not really all that good, and some of the characters are actually just flat out annoying. Now, if you're looking for fun gameplay, if you like good combat, if you want to get out in the world and customize your character to fight the way you want to fight, play a class the way you want to play it, this is going to be a game that you probably are going to be interested in. The combat is where this game shines. Going out and getting those ability points feels really good. Catching a level and getting some points to spend feels great because you get to actually put points into your abilities that can change not only what they do, but the animations and how they react with creatures in the world. And that is a ton of fun that I've really enjoyed, even up until right now.
Yeah, I gotta like. There's nothing you said I disagree with there. And Zach said it in his first look too, and he's somebody that's been following and playing the game on Russian servers and stuff like that for a couple of years now. The story is a typical MMO fare. Like, don't expect anything grand in there. If you are expecting story at the level of like Final Fantasy 14, you are going to be sorely disappointed. Like, it just isn't there. If you are expecting generic low fantasy story, you'll be fine. The English dubbing is bad. It's bad. It was bad in beta. I said it was bad in beta. But the Korean voice pack you can now get. It's for free. You could just go download the Korean voice pack DLC on Steam. Use that. It's, and put your subtitles on. So we got chat. A couple people in chat to call first. Let's start with this one. Maybe I'm one on drugs, but the combat doesn't look fun. Yeah, RS Jabber, original KR voices only, 100%. I actually feel like the combat's quite a bit of fun. There is a ton of customization in your character's skill set, and then not only in what skills you're using, but how you decide to enhance those skills. It is, I will say, it is rather run-of-the-mill and kind of just do what you expect you should be doing with a couple different abilities for the first, 10 levels, and by that I mean from level 10 through 20, because you technically start at level 10 with your advanced class right away if you skip some prologues. But it's an ARPG that feels more dynamic to me. When you start getting into some of these dungeons, and then if you've seen videos of their endgame raids, it is very, very MMO. It is MMORPG. Yeah. It is very, very obey the mechanics or get punished. Mixed in with ARPG combat. It just does everything combat-wise better than Magic Legends did, right?
Oh, that's not hard.
It's not a hard bar.
My skills
it's
are
not
staying
a hard
in the
bar.
same spot. I can see that. So there you go.
The rating looks sick when we get to it, and we get some of the content from Korea. All in all, I am really drawn to it. Now, I like ARPGs to begin with. I do like that this feels a lot more. It's very easy for ARPGs to say, yeah, we're multiplayer meant to be played with friends, and so therefore we're an MMORPG. But I don't think of Diablo 3, right, as being an MMORPG. That's an ARPG that occasionally I'll group up with a couple of friends. This is go into a fucking city, and there's all the players, like if you were in WoW or Final Fantasy or anything. I think it's a brilliant blend. I will say that it starts to crack a little bit at certain points because it is on Unreal Engine 3. Now, granted, they have beaten the piss out of that engine and really gotten a lot out of it. And there are rumors of an Unreal Engine 4 upgrade, which would probably make an Unreal Engine 5 upgrade pretty easy down the road. But, man, some of the monster models just look disgustingly awesome. Some of these monsters are great.
I can't tell you how many times I've just stopped and said, oh my God, that looks so cool.
Yeah, right?
What is this? And I go over there and I'll fight it just because it looks awesome.
Jason,
I
go
don't even
ahead.
need to kill it.
You look amazing. I'm going to have to kill you for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not into ARPGs. I'm really not. I played total probably 1 hour of the Diablo series.
Yeah, if you're not into them and you particularly don't like their combat, this will not likely be for you.
And for me, it's some of it too. Is just my hand gets sore from all the clicking I got to do, and all the moving around and clicking, whatever. So I managed to suffer through Path of Exile, getting through all 10 chapters of that. Couldn't handle the end game, so that's when I quit and so forth. And it was all right. It was a fun experience. I'm getting into. I'll take a look at this eventually because of the hype behind it and so on. Again, the style of combat doesn't sound that interesting to me. So I was watching Zach's video and trying to find, okay, you have skills, you kill stuff, you murder a lot of stuff, you get whatever. What is cool? What makes me want to play this? And then you got to the part about the sailing, and what there be 100 islands, each with their own different kind of theme to it.
Yep.
And then I was like, okay, that sounds kind of neat. That's something I want to get into and check out. So I will at least play through to that point of it.
Yeah, and there is something we should point out. You're not going to see it in the B-roll here, but I think for those that maybe haven't played it yet, we need to point out too that yes, there is that whole level up vertical progression, but this game actually does some horizontal progression tools in it as well, and they actually kind of nail it. It's kind of nailed in a lot of the time. A lot of the time it feels tacked on. They do it really well here. We should talk about monetization, though. It is a free-to-play game. There is a cash shop. Most of it is your cosmetic stuff that you would expect, pets and armor skins and stuff like that. But some people, Troy, aren't going to like that you can kind of, pull out the credit card to bypass a lot of stuff, because you do have the ability to obtain the in-game gold currency through the cash shop, which then will allow you to go to market boards and buy materials that you can use to craft certain pieces of gear. On a PvP side of things, when you talk about competitive PvP, it's scaled. So you don't the gear doesn't impact that. It's all normalized and equalized across the board. But there is that argument that some people just aren't going to like that you have the ability to do that, even if it only impacts that individual person's PvE enjoyment and really doesn't impact you at all. Yeah, I think that it treads a gray area that I think some people are not going to be okay with, even if the ranked PvP content is equalized and this doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's always been a gray area and probably always will be. In PvE, it's not necessarily that they're buying more power than you can get just playing the game and not buying anything. They're just getting there a lot faster. We're all going to the same destination. We can all get to the same place, but you can pay money to get there quite a bit faster. And especially with the way the RNG and game grinding kind of goes, purchasing gear and maybe doing it that way isn't necessarily such a bad idea for some folks.
I do have to say, though, that it is not one, at least in my experience so far, I'm not at endgame or anything like that, so this is initial impressions, gang. I don't feel like the game is paced in such a way where it's trying to goad you into making those purchases. I do feel like everything keeps moving at an even clip, and I'm making progress when I expect to be making progress. I don't necessarily feel like I'm being enticed to save that time if I want to, Jason.
Yeah, Zach was talking about how it was taking him like 10 hours to get to max level. And I said, okay, what about for a normal person who hasn't played it on Russian servers for like 3 years? So yeah, that's gonna be something else I judge too, is how quickly you get to the real game, as he put it. So we'll see.
We do have to say too, I actually prefer playing ARPGs with a controller, and Mad Martha mentioned controllers in there, so I want to make sure we in chat and AKA Mike B playing with one. I prefer like chilling on the bed or the couch or whatever and like playing Diablo rather than sitting at the PC. It's just a game style choice for me on what I like to play. Controller integration is already in the game. And I'll tell you what, it's not bad. It's not bad. Like normally it feels kind of half-assed and you end up key binding a bunch of stuff differently or using a third-party key binding tool if you want to do some really crazy stuff. It's not bad. The controller support's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Yeah,
I've been thinking about trying that.
Jabber, I had said that. Ranked PvP is equalized, yes. Yeah, you don't have any advantage there as far as buying the gear. All in all, I got to say it's early, right? I mean, I've had 3 days of Head Start access, and I participated in 2 or 3 betas. Troy, you've played for 3 days now. Mm-hmm. It's just launch day today. It's early. We'll have to see what it looks like, a couple weeks from now. Where are people who put 40 hours into the game in week 1 and week 2, do they have nothing? Are they new worlded and waiting for Korean content to come over? Because there is an awful lot of content that we don't have. So that gives me a little more hope than something like New World, where they got to make the content. Here they just got to bring it over and do all the localization and fixes and stuff like that. So I think we'll be a bit better on that front. But I got to say, out of the gate, my initial impressions of the game it's damn good. It's definitely, unless you just don't like ARPGs and isometric combat styles, then fine. This game is not for you no matter what. Fine. Then you can deal with that. If you are, I agree with Zach, if you are even remotely interested by what you see in the first look video, it's worth the download. It's worth the download and checking it out. But just don't expect like the greatest story in the world. It's very typical. I'm going to give the game so far, very early impressions, a 7.5. I could see me also giving it an 8, but let's put it at 7.5 for now, and with the reservation that I may go up as I get into some more complex dungeons and things like that. The content I really, really want to get to, and I'm going to give Amazon an 8 so far on the publishing side of things. The being able to accelerate the gear would bother me if I felt like the game were paced in a way that was forcing me to do it. It doesn't. So I'm going to say, fine, I don't care about that one, but I totally understand if somebody else does. I'm going to give them an 8 so far. Both of these scores obviously have a long way to go before they get locked in. What do you give it, Troy?
So far, I've only opened the cash shop to look and see if there were skins that I might want to buy, and they don't have any for sale right now. So that's the only need to even get into the cash shop I've had. I'm having a ton of fun. I don't usually like Eastern import games. I'm not a huge ARPG guy, mostly just because I don't like the mindless grind. I'm having a blast. This game is obviously quality. They obviously care about the actual gameplay itself, not just how much money they can make off of it. I'm going to give it an 8 for now, knowing that I could very well still be in the honeymoon phase. But the in-game content looks super fun. The in-game systems for the gearing systems have me a little nervous, but we're just going to have to wait and see when we get there.
I do want to put in a couple things from viewers here. B-Flaw bringing up a good point that I do think we should put out here. It is very Warframe-esque at the end game, where when you're crafting gear, you're going to wait a couple of days for it, or you're going to shell out to speed that process up. If you're okay within Warframe, it's no different here. And fan saying, got to fix you on that. We got tier 3 at start. We got some tier 3 at start. Basically, we got whatever Korea has, maybe like 3 months behind on some updates, but that's it. We got partial tier 3. We got the initial tier 3 gear and the first 2 dungeons, I believe, that you use for upgrading the tier 3 gear. And we're still missing quite a few classes from the game. In fact, like one of them that was in beta got taken out and replaced with Summoner for launch. So we do have quite a bit to still come from Korea. Yeah, quite a bit. Jason, I know it'd be unfair for you to score it, not having put your hands on it, but just your final thoughts on it.
I'm going to give it a try this weekend if the servers ever come up. So I'll at least give it a try so I can get at least that initial impression on it.
Oh, it was Summoner that was taken out. Okay, Summoner was taken out and replaced with Sorceress. I couldn't remember which way it was. Thank you, Angira. Thank you.
And there's gender locking, too, which is another big thing for a lot of people.
Which is another thing that Smilegate...
They say they're going to change some of that, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll definitely see it. They may pull a Terra, right? Well, no, Terra did it the other way. There wasn't gender locking, and then when they added new classes, they were gender locked the new ones. What the hell? What the hell's your deal? All right, let's slide over to the weekly bombs. I'm going to jump in right with mine. I'm going to give a dub bomb to Lost Ark so far. Again, so far, early in the process, go check out the first look. I definitely recommend, if you're even remotely interested in it, go ahead and get it downloaded. Give it a whirl. What do you got, Troy?
At the risk of sounding completely unoriginal, dub bomb to Lost Ark so far. I'm having a ton of fun. It's the game that I want to play up until SWTOR launches their expansion next week.
Jason?
Don't you have like 50 hours in a day like Mike to play both?
Jason's going to give a dub bomb to Lost Ark and make it the trifecta.
No. I'm going to give an A bomb.
Uh-oh. Who pissed you off?
Old Glory.
What? Oh, calling out chat.
Old Glory in chat.
Calling out chat.
For him repeatedly asking when I was streaming on Sunday. And I told him, and I made sure to say it multiple times, and he never showed up to my stream.
Oh.
So A-bomb to Old Glory, but by the way, I'm streaming tomorrow afternoon. Show up, damn it.
Got him. Chat, make sure you get your bombs in there now. Terra Nova already has theirs. A-bomb to Lost Ark. And having to wait 60 days for a name to be released from a deleted character. Why so long? Yeah, I didn't like that policy there. Mad Martha, I didn't like New Worlds either, though. That was a bit weird, too. Mad Martha, dub bomb for Lost Ark. The game has been massive, and the servers have not glitched or gone down, only filled to capacity, but no problem. Sto Janowski says, dub bomb to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Yeah, I mean, even I was positive about it in the first look video.
I timed out someone in my chat for saying something positive about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh. K-Max says, A-bomb to the host swearing on stream. Oh, we said 2 words. We said 2.
Fuck you.
You said 2. Oh, hey. Normally we do. Yeah, we try to keep it PG-13, so we'll take the A-bomb. Ninja Pandas, dub bomb to PSO2 New Genesis for the new update and the new max level, but that just means the grind has just begun. RS Jabber, dub bomb to Lost Ark, just fun to play. Windshark, A-bomb to Lost Ark, and its poor launch. Do these companies ever learn? Well, I mean, technically, yeah. K-Max, dub bomb to February and having plenty of games to play. Yeah, March is just as bad too, man. Poor wallets. B-Flaw says, dub bomb for Lost Ark. I've needed a good isometric ARPG fix for a while, and I'll get past my MMO curse of not being able to stay interested till max level. To call preemptive A-bomb to my lack of sleep next Friday. That live letter gonna be long. Yeah, probably is. Alan M00 says, dub bomb to Q for her internet working well and her volume being in line with the rest of you. Very enjoyable episode last week. Yeah, I mean, it has been years trying to get Q like evenly audio normalized and stuff like that. So
and not green.
Yeah, and not green. Oh my God, I forgot all about that when she just randomly would go green. So dub bomb there. Thank you for pointing that out. Go ahead, Jason.
Extra dub bomb in chat from Torchwick. Dub bomb to all Kingdom Hearts. Not all related to the stream, but series has been eating up my time.
Yeah, it has. He finally finished Kingdom Hearts 3 and everything before
Finally
it. He
figured
played them in
Okay.
order. He played them in order. Everything, even all the side games. So.
All right. Kevin Sharp says, dub bomb for the Microsoft Game Pass. A wide variety of selection has been amazing. While I do own consoles from both Sony and Microsoft, now I'm interested in seeing how Sony is going to answer with its competing products slated to launch later this year.
Yeah, I mean, it might be too little too late. We'll have to make that call when it comes out, but we're hoping, or at least being teased, that we should hear something by spring as far as a launch of their service. We'll see. What do you got, Troy?
Misfit Rain, dub bomb to Zenith VR MMO. I'm only 9 DPS mage, 3 support mage, and Zenith already announces Cyber Ninja class coming. OMG, real world is about to disappear for good.
So I'm going to buy that game this weekend. I am interested in it. I don't know how much coverage we'll give it because the VR thing, but
Mike's up to 60 hours per day now.
yeah, 60 hours per day. Not a problem. Namtub says, hey, thanks for reading my comment from the last episode. You're welcome. More importantly, thank you for putting one there. Dub bomb to Lost Ark's director's trailer. That was badass. I thought that was really cool. I was already on board years ago, and Zach's 2018 first look only made that wait harder. I know the purpose of the trailer is to make you want to play the game, but I got to give them credit for focusing on specific activities you'll be doing. Also, they had me during that chicken swarm scene. I just hope the servers hold together this weekend somehow. I think a lot of people are hoping that. And yeah, I thought that was cool.
Right now.
That was like the game director's, he was just like so, I know it was voiced over, but the way it was written, just like very infectious. You could tell really cares about the game. And that director's trailer came from him not being happy with the NA trailer, the NA gameplay feature trailer. And so he went and made a director's cut of it. I'm like, yeah, he Tarantino'd it. Good for him. Good for him. I'm choking. Question of the week last week. What's the next major company to be acquired? Who is going to buy it? And why would they want it? Kevin Sharp chimes in, says, right now I see 2 major game publishers that could potentially be on the sale block, both of which are valued at under $8 billion or less. I'm going to assume you're talking about their market cap. The first, possibly CD Projekt Red. What was once an over $10 billion company is now barely at 5 because of the Cyberpunk 2077 debacle. And we do know that a certain company, looking at you, Microsoft, seems to love buying companies in crisis and turning them around. So a Microsoft purchase of CD Projekt Red could be very possible. I also see, and I'm going to assume your numbers are right. I don't know. I also see huge potential for a purchase of Ubisoft, especially by somebody like Microsoft or Sony. Microsoft got a large hurdle to get past with Activision Blizzard's acquisition. But if it can get through regulation and if the dust can settle, I'd be very keen to see if Microsoft would want to pick up Ubisoft for its Game Pass as well. Ubisoft goes beyond just Assassin's Creed. They have Watch Dogs, Splinter Cell, Beyond Good and Evil, Far Cry, and many other great titles. They're just right for a Game Pass-style access. You're not wrong, but the way Ubisoft titles are currently integrated into Game Pass is freaking atrocious. It is absolutely awful in that you have to link your Uconnect account and then actually go play it from the Uplay. It's bad. I would love to see it just, hey, here's a game. Play it. like everything else on the damn service.
Microsoft buying all the companies with the sexual harassment problems.
Right. Go ahead, Jason.
Yami Kami says, I want any company to buy Konami. I don't know what they want or get from it. I also don't care who does it. I just want anyone to do it, even if it's EA. And if Konami was shut down right after, that would at least be a mercy to kill this zombie-like company.
Yeah, I just don't think there's any interest in buying Konami. I think what the play you might make there, Troy, is to buy or license the IPs.
Try to buy IPs off of them. Yeah, that'd be a much better play.
I don't think you want Konami. I mean, yeah, they make all
But
that sweet pachinko money, but yeah, I mean, Konami, you definitely, no. You want to get Yu-Gi-Oh! IP, you want to get Castlevania, I think you want the IPs. So maybe you buy the company for that, but then the company has no inherent value if you're not going to continue like the pachinko and mobile stuff that they do. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody buying them really wants to get into that market. They're buying them for the video game market. So the play may be better to just license or buy IPs, which Konami has stunningly proven they just aren't interested in licensing IPs to people. Go ahead, Jason.
No, I just did. It's Troy's turn.
Oh, it's Troy's turn? Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Nemtab, for question of the week, my prediction is that someone buys Iron Gate, the devs of Valheim. Does someone own Iron Gate already? I don't feel confident picking any company as a buyer, so I'll just make someone out there groan and say, Epic buys the Valheim people. I'm sorry.
Well, here, let me cue up Jason so he can get the groan, because he likes Valheim and doesn't like the Epic Game Store. So he is definitely one of
I don't like it that much. I don't care that much.
They are not owned by anybody. But they're technically, the two people that founded it. I even tried to dig in and find out like if they had any hidden investments from like a Tencent or anything like that. And at least publicly, from what I could find, they don't seem to have any big key investors that you would think about investing in companies like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did get some in the future. Misfit Rain says, question of the week, all big names so far buying big names. So Amazon buys Standing Stone for Lord of the Rings license. Let's come back to that in a second. Kind of like buying a bar from someone. You're not really buying the bar, you're buying the license to serve the liquor, at least in my state. Yeah, that's usually the case. Still think they have to redeem themselves for stopping the new Lord of the Rings MMO to keep the series hype. This is probably just me wanting it more than it actually happening. I talk about Amazon and Lord of the Rings a lot, it seems. Yeah, you do, but we love you for it. Ironically, you don't buy Standing Stone games for the Lord of the Rings license. You go ahead and just buy the Lord of the Rings license right now.
Because it's up for sale.
I gave it to Jason to cover yesterday. We just didn't get to it, so if it's slow today, maybe we'll throw it up. But it is for sale. The Lord of the Rings license and the Hobbit license, the estate, I guess it's the people that handle the estate and stuff like that. They are selling that IP at a valuation right now of $2 billion. $2 billion. So that's what you buy. You don't buy
sneezes and loses $2 billion in the couch.
I don't see a way Microsoft doesn't pick it up. Like, I'm like, there's no way they don't pick that up, right? Like, you have to pick that up. At $2 billion, you could find that. You could find that in Bill Gates's couch. It's just like $2 billion laying there. Oh shit! All right, well, let's buy Lord of the Rings. I don't know. We'll see. Question of the week this week. I want to know about the worst multiplayer game you've ever played. Multiplayer game. Why was it the worst? Like, we all know those, just like, man, that is a terrible game. It's nothing but bug-ridden. They named it New World. I mean, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to.
Oh, my God.
I'm so sorry, Troy. But what is the worst multiplayer game out there that you've played, and why? What made it so bad? We'll, of course, be back next week with another episode of the Always Online podcast. I will not be streaming after today's show, but Troy will be in my stead. So I hope you stick around. We will have to shut the channel down for a minute or so while we flip things over there, Jason. A minute or so. How's that?
At least he didn't say 10 seconds.
There you go.
Until next week, make sure you're giving us the thumbs up, the comments. Get your dub bombs in there so we can put them on next week's show. Until then, Troy, where can everybody find you?
Everything I do goes through Twitter at NoobFridge.
Jason.
I'm on Twitter at Winter Informal and streaming at twitch.tv/Jason Winter, old glory.
Womp, 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 womp. I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at magicman1. But more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so we can tweet at you every time we go live with one of our streams, first look videos, and more. Until next week, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.